Yes, chickens are cute. And I think we would all agree that the eggs are quite delicious. And they're not so bad with a little garlic and rosemary either. Here at the Heritage Poultry Conservancy at Moss Mountain Farm, there's a greater call to action happening. You see, what we're trying to do is help save these birds from extinction by putting them back to work. We're not the only ones dedicated to the preservation of heritage farm animals. In fact, in the smallest state in the country, Rhode Island, there's a farm where they're making big waves toward preserving some of these important animals. Carved out of the hilly landscape of Newport, Rhode Island, is a historic farm that very few people have seen. And the dwellers of this property play an important role in the preservation of heritage livestock.
So SVF Foundation, or Swiss Village Farm Foundation, was developed in the early 1900s as a working farm. Arthur Curtis James and his wife developed this property to house his prize-winning herd of Guernsey cattle. And it was a working farm until the 1940s. It changed hands several times, and it was purchased in 1998 by Mrs. Dorrance Hamilton, who is a philanthropist, and she's done a lot here in Newport. She wanted to preserve the property, and she collaborated with Tufts University to set up this nonprofit foundation which preserves endangered breeds of livestock.
It happened at that time. There was the mad cow disease was going on in England, and so many animals had to be destroyed. It made me wonder how on earth, if everything was killed off, how you'd ever breed back these wonderful breeds.
We're losing breeds at a very alarming rate right now. The industrialization of agriculture has been going on for about 20 years, and it's been consolidating all of our livestock to produce more and more at lower production costs. And what that's meant is the consolidation of all the breeds into one location, so it's cheaper to produce a lot of food, but it means we're relying on only one breed per species, and all the other breeds are becoming lost because they don't fit into that economic system.
In collaboration with Tufts University's Cummings School of Veterinary Medicine, the SVF Foundation brings livestock from all over the country. Veterinarians come on site and work with livestock and laboratory teams to collect genetic samples from the animals which are cryopreserved. The hope is that by saving this genetic material, if needed, they'd be able to bring that breed out of extinction. For birds, however, it's just not that simple.
Well, one of the things, with our preservation program with animals, we've had a great success cryopreserving almost 80,000 samples to date, but we really haven't figured out how to get those giant chicken eggs into those tiny little straws you saw.
Since cryogenics really isn't an option for poultry, any avian species such as chickens, ducks, turkeys, and geese, awareness is really critical. Like the Swiss Village Farm Foundation, the Heritage Poultry Conservancy here at Moss Mountain Farm is dedicated to finding some of these rare breeds from across the world and breeding them to the standard of the American Poultry Association's standard of perfection. We work hand in hand with scientists from the University of Arkansas, poultry experts from around the globe, as well as American Poultry Association certified poultry judges.
How big is it supposed to be? Type, shape, dimensions. The back's supposed to be long or short. The tail angle is supposed to be an open tail or closed tail, how the wing carriage is, and things like that. Over the last 10, 15, 20 years or more, we've seen a pretty dramatic decline in those people that are raising them. We're seeing fewer and fewer of them shown at shows. We don't know that at some point in the future, hopefully this doesn't happen, that we get to a point, hey, we've got to go back and get some new genetic diversity. We have to go back to our roots and recreate some. If we don't have our roots, we can't do it.
As part of our outreach program, we hold poultry workshops dedicated to educating enthusiasts and empowering them with the knowledge and skills to maintain these heritage breed populations. But I have to say, one of my biggest pleasures is reintroducing these breeds into the population through the eager hands of future generations. This girl knows how to handle a turkey.
So one of the best things we can do as farmers, as consumers, is really to preserve poultry on the wing. Where you're not able to freeze them cryogenically and reawaken a species if it was to go extinct, we really need to keep them going, and we really need to give them a job. A lot of the reasons the animals here are in danger of going extinct is because they don't have a job, the way agriculture has progressed.
And we've learned from history, like for example, the potato famine in the 1840s, that when you rely on a single source of nutrition, when something happens and a disease or a blight hits that one source of food, you can be in real trouble. And so it's made a lot of economic sense to consolidate all of our agriculture into a certain number of breeds, but the diversity that we're trying to protect here at SVF Foundation is what's going to carry us into the future.
There are about 5,300 tracked breeds of livestock worldwide, with about 20% of them endangered of becoming extinct. The Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations reckons that about one breed per month is being lost. So let's put these animals to good use. Let's put them back to work again. So how can you help? Well, you can support conservation organizations. You can buy local. You can support a local farmer who's raising heritage breeds. And you can even be a little adventurous. You can keep some of these breeds for yourself. So do your part in securing greater diversity, and let's save these heritage breeds together. What do you say, little guys?